Alright guys, what is up? So in this video I'm going to be talking about Dark Night of the Soul. I'm sure this is something that most of you have heard of before or have gone through or are going through right now. But I wanted to shed some light on this topic because it's something that in the context of spiritual work and conscious development, we all go through on some level or another. Some people go through worse dark nights than others. Some people, their dark night's more light, but I think we all go through this one way or another, so I wanted to shed some light on this topic. So what I kind of view Dark Night of the Soul as, it's a significant transition into how you perceive yourself and the reality. And this perception, it's typically shifts from a more egocentric, more ego-oriented worldview and way of going about life to a more collective worldview, to a more what I call soul-centric kind of way of going about life, where life isn't just about just pleasing yourself, life isn't just about achievements. You know, with this deeper perception, you're getting in tune with the collective. You really want to make an impact. You want humanity as a whole to just become a more wholesome and loving place, so you want to align yourself with that. But in order to make this full transition, to get yourself in direct alignment with this new awakened state that you are going through, you know, you have to go through a painful shedding process of all that is holding you back from embodying that. So previously we all had our various identities, we had all of our relationships, we might have had our career or occupation, we had all of our beliefs about, you know, who we are. We had our religious beliefs about God and whatnot. We had all of our political beliefs and stuff like this. And when we make this transition to this more awakened state, you have to let go of all of that. But it's very, very difficult because who you became, you spent your entire life creating that. You know, it's your ego through life experiences creating that, and now through life circumstances, whether that be a trauma or something, or a gradual shift in awareness that's been going in on you for a few years, or, you know, a sudden experience, you're now perceiving reality differently. You know, who you are and who you're about is different, but you want to get yourself in alignment with that. So you have to shed all these things that I talked about. And that is a very painful process because you, as you know yourself, is literally dying. The old you is dying, and the new you is emerging. You know, that's what death is. Death is an identification thing more than it is a physical thing, you know. But we're not dealing with physical death here. We're dealing with you, as you know yourself, dying. So everything you believed about yourself, everything you built based on that belief of who you are, you're letting all that go and you're rebuilding yourself. So it's a very difficult process. What I like to think of Dark Night of the Soul as, it's a several month to sometimes even several year, maybe even a lifetime long self-surgery that you're completely awake for, that you're completely conscious of, and it's grueling. You'll be face to face with deep depression, existential despair, feelings of meaninglessness, feelings of hopelessness, and maybe even suicidal thoughts. It's very difficult, but I've been there. I've gotten through a really deep dark night in the past year, so I wanted to shed some light on that. But also another thing about Dark Night of the Soul is, you know, it's even more difficult when you have no one else around you that understands you and understands what you were going through, because typically, you know, most people really aren't into this sort of spiritual realm, this spiritual work. Most people are living exactly how their society raised them to be, you know, fully in ego, living life kind of for their self and for their achievements and whatnot. And even though some people might be more in tune with the collective, you know, you really want to make your entire life about helping the collective, and you just have no interest in your egoic pursuits and whatnot. You know, you want to make your life about helping. And most people are not like that at all, so it's very lonely. No one will really understand you, but the internet will understand you. You know, without the internet, I don't think I would have really been able to conceptualize what it was I was going through, because I thought I was going crazy, thought I might have been insane or deluded, but that because of YouTube and the internet, I realized I wasn't, and I got through it. And yeah, it really feels like no one will understand you, but trust me, there are people that understand you. I understand you. There are people in the comments who understand you, so just know that. But now I want to talk a bit about my story. My story, it's like similar to some people's stories, but probably different than the majority, is the spiritual awakening process began to accelerate within me after I took a psychedelic. And on this trip, as a couple trips actually, I had a full-blown ego death. My entire identity completely fell away from me, who I thought I was, who I went my entire life building and believing I was, and all that sorts of stuff. All of that fell away from me completely and utterly on this ego death experience. And in the moment, I was opened up to something much greater, something much higher than myself, and I knew in that moment I was experiencing something magnificent, something just fantastical. And it was a very blissful experience in the moment, but after I came back down from that experience, once I had my ego fully back and my old self completely back and all my habits and ingrained desires and ways of thinking and whatnot, after that was all back, I realized that what I had built up my entire life, what my ego had become, was nowhere near in alignment with this great, loving, amazing thing that I had experienced on my ego death experience. And I realized in order to get myself in alignment with that, I completely had to undergo a complete identity change. I had to completely shift, and because who I was so far from the person that experience could potentially make me into, because I was so far away from that, I felt hopeless. I felt complete meaninglessness, and because I didn't really understand what I was going through, and because no one around me understood me, or I felt no one around me was thinking the same way I was, I felt kind of insane. I felt like I might have been deluded or was losing my mind or something, and that was something very difficult for me to deal with. So it was about a 2-week period after that experience where I was just so existentially depressed. I was grasping for meaning. Anything, I was just trying to grasp for meaning. I was hopeless. Anything that could give me hope, I would just cling to. And that was a very dark moment. I couldn't find anything to cling to. And there was about a week period where I just wanted to kill myself, really. I'm dead serious. I really wanted to die because I thought that I was going crazy and that I could never live up to this magnificent thing that I experienced. And I was even beginning to question whether the thing I experienced was even real or if I was just losing my mind. So that was something very difficult, but I got through it. I reached the light at the end of the tunnel. In that moment, it seemed like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, but there was. And that's the main thing I want to get across with my story, is that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even though it does not seem like it. I promise you there is light. It just doesn't seem like it. And, in my experience, the best advice I have for getting through that tunnel of darkness and reaching the light is to not resist what you're going through, because anything that is resisting, it's the old you that is resisting. It's the ego, the old ego within you that is resisting the new you that wants to be born. And this new you is completely improved, way more wholesome, way more loving, way more conscious than the old you was. So do not resist it. It's the new you that is wanting to be born, and it's the old you that is dying, and the old you will cling to anything that it can to stay alive, because that's what the ego does. The ego seeks comfort. You spent your entire life building this comfort, and now you're completely letting go of all of that, and that's a very difficult thing. It can seem like you're dying or going insane, but don't resist it. Look up YouTube videos, watch some other videos, watch other creators' videos. They will really relate to you, and they will help you get through what it is that you're going through. You can also send me a DM on Instagram. I reply to all DMs on Instagram. I'm sure there will be people in the comments that are more than willing to help you, because this is the hardest part of one's life. Is the dark night of the soul. Spiritual awakening, trying to get in alignment with that awakening. You got to shed everything else. You got to shed all that holds you back. A very difficult thing. That's why it's called Dark Night of the Soul. One thing I forgot to say is that there usually just isn't one dark night, and how dark night works is dark night might last 5 years or something, but then there'll be little increments within that 5 years where the suffering is really, really bad. You are just extra depressed, and there's just specific moments within that time frame of the dark night of the soul where it's worse than others. Sometimes it can be a lifelong thing. I also don't want to paint myself as having completely come to the light, have completely gone through dark night of the soul, because that is not true. I still have things that I cling to. I still have certain desires that are hard for me to let go of. So I'm not a pure vehicle. I will probably have more dark nights in the future. I might have deeper awakenings, which equal deeper dark nights, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I really got for this video, guys. Please give it a like and a comment so more people can see it, because this stuff is extremely important. And that's really all I got for this video, guys. One more thing, if you do wish to support my work on a deeper level, I do have a Patreon where I have a few kind of perks on there that might help you out a little bit, but it's more just for support for the channel. So you got a few dollars to shell out. I really would appreciate that, because I don't make a whole hell of a lot of money from this, but I do put a lot of work in. So if I did get a little bit extra money, it'd help me a lot, but no pressure, of course. And that's all I got for this video, guys. Have a great day and peace.